All right, in this video, what I want to discuss is why a lot of biracials are hated on. And I'm not really, I know I've done videos about biracial people, not being accepted by white people or black people. But I just want to talk a little bit about what I see. And I have a lot of interesting conversations with people on here, and once again, thanks to everybody for sending me emails, and because I learn a lot on here that just when you think you know everything, somebody else will throw something at you, and I just appreciate all the feedback I get on here. But I do get a lot of other biracial people who tell me that they're not accepted by black people. And my whole answer is this. As a lot of you guys know, I was raised, for the most part, since I was 8, by 2 white parents. And it would be very easy for me to say, or to fall into the whole, oh, black people don't accept me, and white people don't accept me, and but I've been able to for the most part overcome that form of racism. And when I say that form of racism, I'm not necessarily saying I've been able to overcome the whole topic of racism. But what I've learned about people in my 27 years, and I feel like I know most people pretty well without even really getting to know them. And mostly I'll start off with black people, and I know I've said this before. I've said this many a times, and I'll say it again. When it comes to the majority of black people, they will accept you as long as you are who you are, man. As long as you're not some ignorant fool or somebody who thinks you're better than black people, because a lot of people do have that mentality that they're better than black people. As long as you don't have that mentality, I mean, most black people will be okay with you. So a lot of I'm gonna say this, and I don't blame biracials. A lot of biracials, I don't necessarily blame that individual for a lot of the negative mindsets they have about black people, because I think it all goes back to the house, man. It all goes back to the parents. And a lot of times when you have biracials who are growing up in a white household, or when they just have one parent who happens to be white in the household, the kid is fed these views, man. And I know I've said this in another video, but a lot of biracials are not introduced, I guess I'll say, to their black culture, or they're not taught to embrace their black culture. And that's something I was always taught, to embrace my black culture. And that's a lot, and that just seems to not happen. It seems to not happen as much as it should. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because obviously it happens, man. But I know it doesn't happen a lot for a lot of biracials, and they develop these mindsets, and a lot of them don't realize it, man. A lot of them don't realize it, but a lot have developed these mindsets that they are better than black people, or somehow well, it just happens when you're not shown your other half, man. And I'm not sitting here trying to one-drop anybody, because, you know, it's perfectly fine for anybody to embrace what they're all about. But the whole reality is this, man. The whole reality is that as the whole reality is a biracial person, a lot of the hatred that we receive are from the same people who don't like black people. Go figure, man. And that's why, and that's what causes the whole struggle for biracials, because yes, yes, we are told that we should embrace both of our cultures, but the fact in the matter is that we are black. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm not confused anymore. And when I look back and I see a time in my life when I was confused, it's because I was trying to fit in equally with both sides. And I'm here to tell you, as a biracial person, that's just, I'm sure some are able to do that, but the majority are not able to do that. I mean, yes, I have friends who are white and I have friends who are black, and I will try to fit in with them and I will be open to them. But when it comes to like meeting people like within their circle or their friends who happen to be Caucasian, I'm quite aware that they may not like me or they may not accept me. And you know, that's something that I'm okay with, because I know that's what's gonna happen a lot of times. You know, but for me to even begin to open up to anybody, whether black or white, I mean, I really got to get to know that person, man. Like, I really got to hear what they say. I got to hear what comes out of their mouth. Like, I got to watch how they interact with other minorities. I got to see what they're all about and shit. I mean, because like I said, I watch a lot of people fall straight on their face just by the things they say or just by their actions. You know, I watch a lot of people fall straight on their face, man. And I don't know how much time I got left in this one, but you know, I've also learned this, man, that like as a minority, mainly a black male, I mean, you just cannot explain racism or what you go through to people who are not minorities, for the most part. Sometimes you can, but for the most part you can't, because a lot of them don't understand where you're coming from. You know, and you hear the whole, why don't black people get off their ass, and why are black people so lazy, and why are black people on welfare, and all this shit. But you know, let me just say this. I mean, black people have it hard, and like I said, I mean, I give all the credit in the world to black people who are able to achieve greatness, man. Because a lot just cave in, and a lot aren't able to do that, man. And a lot of black people just are not able to rise above the despair, man, because it's constantly, you're constantly being pulled down, man. It's like tug of war. You're constantly having that rope tied right out of your hands because it's just fucking hard, man. But I know a lot of black people aren't able to overcome that, but a lot are, man, and I give my hat off to the ones that are. So, you know, I'll probably make another part to this, maybe not, who knows, but I just wanted to get it out there that, you know, that a lot of biracial people are thrown into situations that aren't fair to them, man, or that self-sabotage who they are. And it's sad, but it does happen. So